Breaking news coming in at the moment. Russian President Vladimir Putin is making a televised address to the nation. He has announced a partial military mobilization allowing reservists to be called up. Putin says that the West has been blackmailing Russia, but that Russia has many weapons with which they can respond. We will use all resources we have to defend our people, is what Vladimir Putin is saying. I trust in your support, is how he concluded. Russia's parliament this week approved tougher punishments for this is under mobilization. The Western nations have condemned Moscow's plan to hold urgent so-called referendums in part of Ukraine that are currently under Russian control. He issued the threat to the West: if the territorial integrity of our country is threatened, to defend Russia and our people, we'll use all means we have. This is not a bluff, is what Vladimir Putin is putting out in a clear words. The territorial integrity of our motherland, our independence and freedom will be secured. I repeat, with all the means that we have, is what Russian leader Vladimir Putin is saying. Those who try to blackmail us with nuclear weapons should know that the prevailing winds can turn in their direction. We have my colleague Maha Siddiqui joining us. Very strong words are being put out by Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Partial militarization, in fact, underway. This is in a televised address to the nation that he's asking for their support. He is saying that they'll use all resources that they have to defend their people. Maha, what details do you have for us?
Yes, this is an escalation that the West is looking at from the Russian side after Vladimir Putin made that address to the nation, where he has said that the occupied areas of Ukraine are now considered Russian territory. In fact, what he is suggesting is a referendum in at least 4 of the areas. These include 2 areas in the Donbass region, Lugansk, as well as the other region of Donetsk. He is also talking about having this referendum in Kherson as well as Zaporizhia. He is saying that any response from the other side to try and take back the regions that Russia is claiming could result in a nuclear response. This, I think, is the biggest takeaway at the moment, which is being called as which is being almost like a warning for a nuclear response from the Russian side. He is saying those who are trying to blackmail us with nuclear weapons should know that the prevailing winds can turn in their direction, which is being looked at as a warning from the Russian president as far
Maha,
as
this is at a time when the SCO just got concluded in Uzbekistan. We had Prime Minister Modi talk to him, saying this is not any time for war. Even the Chinese leader Xi Jinping brought up his concerns as far as the Ukraine war and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia was concerned. He did, in fact, acknowledge those concerns, and here we have him making these statements out aloud.
Yes, absolutely. And you are absolutely right on what the Prime Minister had in fact also said to President Putin, saying this is not the time, this is not the era for war. And that reference has also been made, interestingly, at the UNGA by the French president. He spoke about how what Prime Minister Modi said is absolutely correct. But when President Putin was speaking today, let me also point out what he has said, and pretty much in reference to what we have seen him talking about even when he was in the SCO summit. While he did speak about the concerns that have been expressed both by India and China, yet again in his address he has said that Kyiv has refused to negotiate peace. This is what he said to the other side, that is Prime Minister Modi, when he made his opening remarks and he spoke about the concerns of India. He had said that Russia has reached out to Ukraine for negotiation, but it is Ukraine that has refused to negotiate. Although the West called it lies and a falsehood, however, he has once again in his address mentioned this today, that Kyiv has refused to negotiate peace and is pursuing nuclear weapons. That is his allegation, which he has once again underlined. And then he said that that is why their decision to launch a military operation against the areas in Ukraine were necessary. And now he is looking at a referendum, he's saying. So all this, all the kind of, the kind of suggestion or indication that we were getting from Samarkand, that President Putin may perhaps be looking at winding down things, reaching out to the other side, because his own friends have in the first public meeting or first public statement requested him to now end this war because of the crisis, food and fuel crisis across the world that we are seeing. But this is now an opposite in some sense of what one would have expected, because Vladimir Putin now is suggesting a sort of referendum in at least 4 areas: Lugansk, Donetsk, Kherson and Zaporizhia. He's also suggesting that any effort by the other side to wrest control of these regions, which are now under Russian control, will result in possibly a nuclear reaction.